കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ സയൻസ് പഠിച്ചിറങ്ങുന്നതായിരിക്കോ AI പഠിച്ചിറങ്ങിയായിരിക്കോ ഫ്യൂച്ചറിൽ നമുക്ക് കൂടുതൽ ജോബ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ്?
ഐ തിങ്ക് എൻ്റെ ഒരു അഭിപ്രായത്തിൽ എപ്പോഴും ഫൗണ്ടേഷണൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ബേസിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോഴ്സുകൾ തന്നെയാണ് ബെറ്റർ. കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ സയൻസ് ഈസ് ഓൾവേസ് ബെറ്റർ ദാൻ AI because computer science will give you that foundation with which you can go to any other thing, specializations like AI. But of course, there is no harm in learning AI and so on. പക്ഷേ എനിക്കൊന്ന് again, I think we should put education in perspective, right? If you look at, if you ask me, what are the things that I learned at school or at college that I am using in my daily work every day, right? It is very, very minimal. Like even in engineering, I studied electronics engineering, and yeah, very little of that probably, but not in every day for sure, right? We are not using that. And things that we study at school, there are a lot of subjects that you study at school, right? Only very few you will actually get to use in your later life. But then why we study all these things? Because you become a better person by actually going through that process of learning, right? So in engineering, in whatever branch you study, the core thing that you study is actually solving problems. How do we solve the world's biggest problems, right? So actually beyond a point, these branches, these specializations doesn't matter much. It is about what problems you solved with the things that you learned, that will matter, and the skills that you used to solve those problems, that you will use time and again. But then you will not realize that these are the skills that I learned when I solved a problem at college or school. You will not, it will not be obvious. But this is the thing. And again, just to kind of touch upon one of the core themes that we looked at, right? Gen AI is about, what Gen AI's impact on education is primarily about kind of learning more higher order things. And I think probably in the earlier days നമുക്ക് കാണാപ്പാഠം പഠിച്ച് പോയി പരീക്ഷ എഴുതിയാൽ മതിയായിരുന്നു ചിലപ്പോൾ. പക്ഷേ അത് കുറേ കാലമായിട്ട് തന്നെ അങ്ങനെയല്ല. അങ്ങനെയുള്ളവർക്കല്ല കൂടുതൽ പോകാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. നമ്മളത് മനസ്സിലാക്കി അത് പ്രോബ്ലംസിൽ അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്ത് സോൾവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയാണ് കുറേ കാലമായിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇനി നമുക്ക് കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ഹയർ ഓർഡർ തിങ്സിലായിരിക്കും ലേണിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ഫോക്കസ്, ലൈക്ക് ക്രിയേറ്റിവിറ്റി, empathy, and so many other things will be more focus for education.
Sir, I have a question. I'm a teacher. So if I ask my student to submit an assignment and he or she depends on generative AI to produce the output, how could I evaluate the creativity and the perseverance, the hard work, and the originality? So it will be a biggest task for the teachers in the coming days. So I'm thinking, depending on AI on a larger scale, it will be an addiction. Because once you start getting the help of AI for your for your simple role, so for simple task, so how could I evaluate, or how could a human can increase or evaluate his own originality and creativity? There is no role of his own creativity, his own signature mark. Everything will be some other assistant providing everything. So it will be a really a complex situation, I think so. So how could we find a solution to this? Is there any solution? Number one.
Okay, I think it's a very interesting point. I haven't thought about this, to be frank. But my take would be that before we, I think this may not be fully practical and all, but before, I think, just to touch upon that point again, right? Our focus of education should shift to a higher order learning, which means that our assessments also should be at a little bit higher order, which again, in a very practical terms, is like this. Before giving the assignment, we need to type that question in ChatGPT and get the answer. And if it is giving the answer, then it's not probably a right question to ask in the assignment. That is one. But again, the other is, and probably you should tweak your question a little bit so that it is not very obvious for the ChatGPT. But still, maybe the ChatGPT will again answer. But the advantage of doing this exercise is that when you evaluate the answers, you will know whether it is actually how much of it is from ChatGPT and how much it is from the student, right? That you will always know if you are doing this exercise. But I think that being conversant with these kind of technologies is kind of a professional need for all our teachers as well. But I think, but that again, to come back to my original theme, it will not fundamentally alter the learning or the training or the teaching methods or anything. You will continue to do what you have been doing, and there is absolutely no change there. But the only thing is that in the new world, we need to be conscious that the students have more access to these tools and more knowledge about these tools than probably we ourselves have. So we need to play a catch up with them and be open to even learn from them, because they can teach us a lot of things.
Sir, I think that we can have a plagiarism checker, sir. Like we are having we are doing a PhD or something, we are having that plagiarism checker. Like that in schools also, we can have that AI checker, whether it is they got it from AI or something like that. Whether they have copied it from somewhere, like we are having the plagiarism checker.
Okay.
Like that, an AI checker could be introduced in the future.
Sir, once
that's true.
again. So to write a prompt or cue, we need English. Am I right? So learning English, I think it is the most important thing.
You're an English teacher?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That's true. That's true.
Yes. Can you please elaborate to the student audience here how they have to give importance to know the right language, to give the right prompt and cue to get the right result?
That's absolutely true.
Because many of them, we feel that learning English is not a big thing. But I know artificial intelligence, if you want to be, in the future, you must be a master of that language. Or not, at least not master, without any mistakes.
Okay, I think learning language is absolutely important. I absolutely no doubt about it, especially in the lower classes. The most focus should be in learning languages, not even the other subjects. It is languages in the lower classes. But I don't think that is for this need. It is for anything. You need to communicate and you need to express yourself and communicate. This is only one form of communication when you are communicating with the machine, right? So, so I think there is absolutely no question about that. Learning languages is absolutely important. But I think in the ChatGPT context or in the context of GenAI, it could be a weak argument because it is not just English. You can actually ask with Malayalam also, and it is fast improving. So you can actually ask in the very near future. We will have many of these queries. Answers will be, or the prompts in Malayalam will also be good, or any language. But any language. The point is like any language is important. And English, I think, even without this, English is the world's lingua franca, like that. So
Thank you, sir.
So you need to learn English to be a global citizen. There is no two answers to that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But I think I should also tell about a little bit on actually the other subjects also. See, if those who use ChatGPT may be aware, to give a prompt, to actually ask a good question or to draft a prompt, you need to know the subject a little bit, right? So I think that is the knowledge that you will get from these subjects. For example, if you want to really get into the deeper sides of biology, you need to learn biology, right? You need to have an interest in biology. You need to have that kind of thing. So learn everything with a passion or interest, and look at the whys and so on, and then you will find yourself using these tools in a much better fashion than if you are not knowing those things. Yeah.